The best ways to start your IELTS speaking answers for a high score. Based on an analysis of high scoring band 7, 8, and 9 students, here are the most effective openings for different IELTS question types. 1. For preference questions. Example, do you prefer studying in the morning or at night? Best opening, I would say I generally prefer or I would rather. Why it works, 37% of top students use this. It's direct, clear, and shows immediate focus. State your preference first, then explain. 2. For opinion questions. Example, should children learn to cook at school? Best opening, well, actually, I think, or in my opinion, or it depends. Why it works, it sounds more natural and conversational. Using fellows like well or actually is common at a high level before clearly stating your view. 3. For past experience questions. Example, describe a time you traveled somewhere new. Best opening, well, I remember when or back in I mentioned the year. Why it works, over 60% of band 7 plus answers start this way. It instantly signals you are telling a story and using the correct past tense. For hypothetical questions, example, if you could live anywhere, where would you choose? Best opening, I would probably choose. Why it works, 55% of top speakers use would to correctly show they are discussing an imaginary scenario. Grammar accuracy is key here. 5. For it depends, balanced questions. Example, questions with two sides. Best opening, well, it depends, or I think it varies. Why it works, found in 31% of high scoring answers. It shows you can consider multiple perspectives, which is valued in part 3. 6. For simple part 1 questions. Example, where do you live or what do you do? Best opening, I live in or I work as. Keep it simple. Why it works, 65% of band 8 and 9 students are direct. Don't overcomplicate simple questions. Answer directly first, then add details. 7. For complex part 3 questions. Example, why do you prefer cities over rural areas? Best opening, that's an interesting question. A balanced view. Why it works, 46% of top scorers use bridging phrase to acknowledge the complexity before giving a recent analytical answer. 8. When giving a personal example. Example, can you give an example? Best opening, certainly, for example, or sure, one time. Why it works, it's a natural lead-in to a story. It sounds fluent, not robotic. 9. When you don't know the answer. Best opening, I'm not entirely sure, but I had to guess, or that's a tricky one, but I suspect. Why it works, never say I don't know or refuse to answer. The test is about your English, not your knowledge. Speculating shows you can communicate even without perfect information.